The skills shortage in Australia has now hit the transport sector with a major shortage of truck drivers nationwide. Industry and union leaders warn that truckies are an ageing workforce, and unless new young drivers are found, a crisis looms in meeting freight demands. Once the bastion of male employees, the industry is trying to attract female truckies to help solve the problem, as Heather Hewitt reports.
I was a little girl, wanted to be a truck driver all my life. Being a girl held me back, but I decided I was going to follow in my dad's footsteps.
Been a little bit of a change, what Kay wants you to do, set to be on that first delivery first hour.
Yep, no problem.
All yours.
What is it that you like about it?
The freedom. I love just given my work of a morning, jump in the truck, and I go and do my work. Dad used to drive a tanker himself, and he'd come home every now and then, or we'd go on the convoys that they used to have, and I just always dreamed of doing it myself, you know. I wanted to be just like Dad. Because I was a girl, I thought, well, back in those days it was just not an accepted thing, so I never went ahead with it. But yeah, that was my dream, and I'm finally living it.
Forget the old image of the tough, tattooed, singlet-clad truckie hogging the highway. Hayley Wood is one of a new breed, and there's a major recruitment drive on to attract more like her to what was once strictly a man's world.
There's a shortage of truck drivers across the board in our industry. Our industry is very diverse, and you know, from the regional centres right through the metropolitan area, there are real shortages.
And why have we not got more women involved? And I think if we could, you know, see our way clear to make the industry a bit more women-friendly, that would certainly stand us in good stead.
I'm probably an old-fashioned male chauvinist pig, but the girls are all proving me wrong at the moment.
It's a matter of sheer necessity that even the trucking giants like Linfox are taking on female drivers to try to address a crippling shortage of truckies that has ramifications around the country.
I don't think there's any real motivation for somebody to be a truck driver. Mine was simple. Dad was a truck driver. I wanted to own one.
If more drivers aren't attracted to the industry in the future, what's going to happen?
Well, we'd have a huge problem because everything's got to move by road.
I'd say within 3 to 5 years we'll be at critical mass, if I can say that, where physically the older drivers will retire and there's simply no one coming through.
Paul Freestone is one of many trucking company owners who has trucks lying idle because he can't find enough drivers. He has 60 trucks, but these days it's rare for them all to be on the road.
Last night we could have done with 9 drivers. 9 of these trucks were parked, and you live with that every day. At the end of the day, you don't want to put anyone in the trucks that's not suitable.
Is that very frustrating for you, that they sit there empty night after night?
Yeah, it costs a bunch of money too.
This has flow-on effects right down the line.
A couple of years ago, in August, September, and coming into the busy period for Christmas, we started to leave freight behind. Now, that was unheard of years ago, where you'd leave freight on the ground to be delivered the next day or next couple of days. That's happening more and more now.
What it also means is that older drivers are staying on the road way past the usual retirement age to help fill the gap. Graham Doyle is 73 years old and regularly does the interstate overnight haul from Melbourne to Adelaide and return for the Melbourne company Carls.
Do you think people would be surprised that someone of your age and many others are out there still driving trucks?
Probably, yeah. Because people say to me, when are you going to give it away, Doyle? And I say, well, what am I going to do? It's a love-hate thing, you know. Sometimes you hate it and other times you love it, and you spend a couple of days at home, you're itching to get back behind the wheel.
But the younger generation doesn't see it quite the same way. Graham Doyle is part of an ageing workforce in the transport industry. He's been driving trucks since his teens, and he knows people like him are in demand.
It's a magazine, Out Owner Driver, which this week has got 4 pages of vacancies in it. And some of them are top companies that pay the right money, have the right equipment and the right freight, and no pressure, but they still can't get drivers.
What does that tell you?
No one wants to do it anymore.
Unanswered advertisements outside the premises of one transport company after another cause some in the industry to wonder if the public image of truckies acts as a deterrent.
I think that if you speak to people from a younger generation and ask them what they see as a truck driver, they'll tell you that a truck driver's got stubby shorts, blue singlet, big belly, and usually they'll think that it's a job that they've taken on because they're not educated well enough to do anything else, and that's just not the case anymore.
I mean, it's like a war out there. Everyone hates everyone. The bicycle riders hate the car drivers hate the bicycle riders, everyone hates the truck drivers.
Risks in terms of the road.
Industry employers and the Transport Workers Union have just released a new code of conduct for truckies in a bid to clean up the industry and improve the public perception of it. As well, the industry is running a promotion campaign at secondary schools and colleges after studies showed there was no advice available on how to become a truckie.
I found in inner city Melbourne you could actually get information about how to shear a sheep, how to grow wine grapes, but when it came to taking on a career in the transport industry, there was nothing available.
We can't accept that position, that we can't get them. We've got to get them.
I think they're going to have to start an apprenticeship of some description.
Without action to make life on the road more appealing for men and women, there are bleak forecasts on what lies ahead.
We simply cannot get the goods to market.
As for Hayley Wood, she's urging other young women like her to give it a go.
Trucks these days aren't as scary as they used to be in the old days. They've got the power steering, they've got air conditioning, there's no heavy lifting involved.
What does your dad think about you going into the industry then?
I think my dad's proud as punch with his little girls following in his footsteps.